So, a couple of months ago, we started on this project where our task was verify a couple of things from documents for the client and then uh, send it back to their system. Uh, and all of this would be predicted using LLMs. So, in the phase one, what we did was we created a few chains and we did all of the implementation and the verification logic and we deployed that. And once we deployed it, the client liked it and the LLMs were giving accurate results. But they said that the rules of the verification might keep on changing. And the whole conversation started around having to implement some sort of way in which the model can learn, um, and how to implement that solution was the main question getting thrown around in the meetings. And we really had no idea at that point as to what exactly do they mean by learning. So we went to them and asked, hey, what do you mean when you say learning? And here is the biggest misconceptions that we see um, in the business community or leaders which are not in the tech industry. They come from a different industry and they think that AI can magically solve their problems and the AI can learn like a human and then also uh, train like a human and eventually uh, completely replace the human. But as we all know, that's far from reality and that's very difficult. So we were like, maybe saying like we will replace the humans would be a wrong thing. But we can make sure that we are automating as much as possible. Um, so we were really confused and caught off guard as to what do we even do? How do we even implement such a solution? Um, so then we were like, if we want to go with the possible routes that we want, which I'll discuss further in the video, we need data, and we don't have that at the moment. So what we did was we asked their tech team to have a conversation with us and have a much more deeper understanding that we had before onto how the systems exactly work and what can be possible ways uh, we can find to implement and get that data from their system. So after having this conversation, we found out that their system already had a solution in place wherein they were capturing if the end user had made any errors uh, or changes, basically, not errors. If they had made any changes uh, instead of using whatever their current system was giving. So I would give you an example. So let's say their system had predicted uh, Prathamesh as the name, but uh, the user said, no, that's not right. It's actually Prathamesh Kulkarni. So those changes were locked in their system by default so that they can have an audit trail and they can use it for further whatever they want to do with that data. But they had that system in place. So we were like, okay, so a couple of things happened. So we went back to the business team and we said, look, guys, uh, you are saying that you wanted to train an LLM, which is out of the box, because that would take millions of dollars. And neither you have nor we do have that much sort of money. and that's not just visible, and we will need special experts who have knowledge about training this. It will need hardware, and we don't want to get in that mix. And also, we were on the timeline to deliver uh, this application, so we were like, we can do fine tuning. So we will use the pre-trained LLMs and then fine tune on the data that we have. Uh, but they were like, again, we don't have that much budget. You have to do something after the box. So we were like, okay, so if fine tuning is out of question, then we were like, okay, at least at the first step we can do is get our systems at a place where that feedback is incorporated into our system. So what we said was, if an AI or the LLM predicts something and the user says, no, that's wrong, the system would capture those changes made by the user and it would send it back to our system, which was really nice solution, because now we had uh, things or data available for us. On our end, what we then did was we were keeping logs of what were the inputs given to the LLM, what was the output of the LLM for that given case, and then if we have received any feedback, we were storing those into a Postgres table. And now that we had data, what we thought was, um, we can implement few shot prompting in such a way that uh, we can we can uh, input those sample examples within the prompt itself dynamically based upon what we are checking at that moment. Right. So in the example I gave you, let's say we are verifying the name, then we would give in examples of what the model had previously predicted, and if we had received any corrections, those as well, so that the aim here was to so that the rules of the verification were understood by the model depending upon the examples that we provide. So we were like, we will figure out a way that to provide the good quality examples within the prompt, so that the LM can understand the patterns for verification and then adjust its rule dynamically. Uh, and yeah, so there were a couple of things that are there here with this feedback loop system. So previously, the model or the solution, which was static, is now dynamic. It is now capturing feedback as well. Also, you don't have to explicitly tell all the rules within the prompt each and every time some rule gets changed. So that's a benefit. And also now it's the whole system is much more dynamic, in terms of like, you don't have to interfere within the system to do any changes. For example, previously, if there would have been a rule change, I would have to go into the prompt, change that rules. But there are problems here. The problems here might be that once that rule is being changed, it might work on the new examples, but what if something from the old examples come into picture? Then that doesn't work. So we have to take care of that. And that is where this system was much more helpful, because we can provide all sorts of examples for the LLM to understand the various range of the samples and the various rules involved for the verification. Uh, that way, it can make good rules and good predictions out of it. Uh, and that was the whole motive. So when we pitched this solution, the client actually liked it. And there were a couple of other reasons as well. It was not as expensive as something like fine tuning, where we would have needed a lot of time as well as a lot of money, and we were able to do that in much cheaper with few shot prompting, and that was a benefit. And then now that we had the data, in future we have the option to go through fine tuning, through reinforcement learning, and we can go crazy with all sorts of uh, newer technologies and newer, what you can say, newer methodologies that are there to actually make the model better, predict what we were predicting. And that is the main aim here. To how first is to implement that feedback loop, and now that we have the data, being able to expand that solution away and into various different directions we might choose. So a couple of things happened because of this. We were able to get around 95% accuracy on the live data in terms of how much we were correctly processing, right? And it also gave the client a confidence, and we like usually what happens is if the client feels underconfident about the solution, there are chances that we might lose the client. But because we had provided this confidence within them, their phase 2 phase 3 came in, and now the solution is much more better, and we have not lost the client. So at the end of the day, it is also affecting the revenue of the organization, and that is really crucial in terms of real environments and systems, in terms of putting AI into production. So yeah, those are the key takeaways. And this was my first video, and I hope you liked it. And if you want to see much more of this content, please tune in to this channel. I would be posting a different variety of videos from AI, philosophy, psychology, music, and I don't know, whatever comes to my mind. This is not an AI channel. That's what I wanted. This is a Prathamesh Kulkarni channel, and that's what I want to keep it. I want to be free of any sort of niche, and that's my aim here. But I hope you like this video and you had a good takeaway from this video. So see you in the next one. Bye bye.